Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again this morning. Hopefully we've managed to get it live without too many problems. If we have, this will be the first time that we've managed okay with it. Today we're going to make a Chewbacca. Chewy?
It is.
A Wookiee.
Yeah, Chewy.
That's what we're doing today.
Chewbacca.
I just made this one very quickly just before coming on this morning. So maybe the second one won't look the same, we'll see. We're gonna use the brown Saracino modelling paste. You can use modelling chocolate or modelling paste, so like this stuff. Or you can buy it in like the bigger pots. I used quite a lot actually for the Chewbacca. I think I used about 160 grams. We're gonna need a tiny bit of black, or we can use a black pen actually instead. So we don't need hundreds of different things for this one. You can use pearls in the eyes, we can do closed eyes, we can roll eyes out of black modelling paste, whichever you think is fine. Okay, so this one unfortunately has got a flat back because it is so cold in here that I couldn't get my paste to go soft, so I stuck it in the microwave. I microwaved it for too long and then it was really soft, so I had him laying down while I was working on him and he just kind of melted and flattened into the work surface.
To give people 1 more minute, it's only just literally past.
Yeah, I'm just kneading my paste.
Okay.
Because it takes me a while to knead my paste.
Now.
You what? Sorry guys, Richard is playing around with things on the screen. I don't know if it shows for you guys or not. He's just worked out how to get different writing and logos on the screen and he keeps playing with them. Okay, so this is just the Saracino modelling paste. I've actually added a tiny bit of white to that, really just to try and soften it because the brown one's fairly hard. If you've got warm hands, you're going to find it's much easier. My hands are freezing. It's cold in here again.
It is really cold in here today.
It's been really cold. Even when it's been nice and sunny out, it's been freezing in here, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oops, just move him to one side a second.
People from Philippines, Germany,
hi everyone.
The UK.
Thanks for joining us.
Even people say hello to me. Thank you, Sue.
Sue watching.
And Rose.
Hi Rose.
And
Hi
Leanne.
Sue. Hi Leanne.
Sue.
Hi everyone. Okay, I'm just going to keep kneading because when my hands are really cold, and they're always cold, when I knead it, it's difficult to kind of push the paste together because I can't get it warm enough that it kind of melts to itself, so it takes me a little while to kind of get going with this. Who saw the Yoda one we did on Tuesday? Was it Tuesday? I'm losing all track of days at the moment. It was earlier this week, wasn't it? Tuesday. Did you guys see the Yoda one that we did? Actually, I did that one, didn't I?
I can't remember.
Yeah, the sat down one I think I did in advance of the video. So I'll just keep going while people are joining us. It's like a workout, it's so hard.
So people can use a microwave, can't they, to heat it up a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I did earlier, I microwaved it. So it's just this, took it out of the packet, put it in the microwave. I usually put it in for about 5 seconds at a time, but it felt pretty hard, so I stuck it in a bit longer and I put it in a bit too long. And that's why it kind of just went really flat on the back of it. So this one, I did still microwave this one earlier, but because it's been sat for sort of 15 minutes on the side, it's started to firm up again. What I'll try and do is roll all the cracks and stuff to the underneath because then I can get them hidden under his feet, hopefully. Although he's got lots of hair, so hopefully, like if we end up with some creases and cracks, the hairlines should hopefully cover that. It's slightly warmer in the palm of my hand. Let's try rubbing it in the palm of my hand a little bit more. Slightly, we've still got cracks there. Okay, this is going to be the bottom. So I'm gonna turn it round.
Somebody said we might have ghosts in our shop because it's so cold.
Is that what it means?
Maybe.
We're in a big old stone building. Don't tell me things like that. I won't sleep tonight. We're at the shop today though, we're not at home. But it always, the sun comes into the front of the shop where like the products are, so it gets really warm in the front of the shop. But the back of the shop, the sun doesn't really come into the back, does it?
Nice.
And because it's a really big stone building, it doesn't seem to get overly warm, does it?
No, not at all.
Is that what it means, that you get ghosts if it's cold?
I don't know.
I'm always cold.
You must be haunted.
Don't say that. I'll be sleeping with the lights on tonight. So it's really firm. That's why I'm spending ages doing this. He basically is, well, he's not one piece, but the majority of him is one piece with the arm stuck on extra and then the belt. Oops, the belt is kind of an extra piece. So I'm doing what I can with it as one piece. Did I tell you guys how much it was? there was 160 grams in the body. And I was actually going to make him smaller, but because I'd got my Yodas, and these were supposed to be baby Yodas, they're still big, aren't they? Giant size. But I thought if I make him smaller, he's going to look tiny compared to them. So yeah, I've got 160 grams. If you want to go smaller, you're not going to need as much paste. I want to try and keep it fairly rounded at the top, which is going to become the head, and then it can be fairly flat at the bottom. So I'm going to just keep rolling. It's hard work for me today, putting a lot of pressure on this because it's so cold. Okay, I do want it really to be able to stand up a little bit though. Let's see if I can. This one's way shorter than that one. It's probably because he kind of squashed out a bit, that one. Let's just keep going. Try not to press the very bottom of the bottom bit too thin because I want it to kind of flick out the bottom of his feet so it looks like he's really furry at the bottom. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. This isn't a very interesting bit for you guys to watch, is it? While I'm just rolling. Okay, so I worked on it this way, which is why he ended up flat, but because this one feels firmer, I'm hoping it's not going to flatten too much, but it's easier for you guys to see if I do it this way around. Okay, so I really want to kind of divide him into about 3. So I want the head to take up about the top third. I'm just going to put a really light mark on, you'll barely see it. And then the legs are going to come up to about probably here. Is that about a third? Doesn't have to be exact, it's just roughly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push in with my dressing tool. So the pointy end of my dressing tool, we're pushing in here, in between those legs. I'll swap and I'll use the other end to kind of push across there and there. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I can get my finger in to just kind of round it a little bit. So can you see, rather than it just looking like one sharp line, it's a little bit more rounded there. This one is going to be a bit shorter, I think, than that one, but it's okay. I can stretch out his legs a little bit in a minute anyway. Then what I'm going to do is just try and pull, can you see the bottom of each leg out a little bit here? And then we'll put the same line in the back. It might squash the front down a little bit when we do this. So I'm pressing fairly firm when I'm doing this. And again, can you see, just rounding with my fingers. And then we can push them back together a little bit if you want. So if you want his legs a bit longer, you can just stretch them. So we can just gently stretch these a little bit. I've lost the roundedness a bit in the front. And the good thing about this is it doesn't actually matter if he doesn't look very neat. Okay, he looks like he's got flares on, big flares. Just check he will stand up. He's actually probably not too different height-wise now, is he, to this one? So that's fine. If he's quite fat and he's got short little legs, it will make him cuter though. So the shorter and fatter everything is, the cuter it tends to look with the modelling. So what I'm going to do now is try and add like the hairlines. I don't know if you can see it here. That are going to be just below his face. So we'll do them kind of coming and curving around. Now you do really need them on the back as well, but you might find that the back ones end up pushing out a little bit. And obviously you can spend a lot longer on this than what I am doing. So they're like my deeper lines. I almost want to press below that in a little bit so that it makes the head look like it sticks out a bit more.
I've just remembered what you were going to do today.
What was I going to do today?
You were going to do Lego versions.
Was I?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I forget everything. I forget 10 minutes after I said I'm going to do something. I write everything down as well and I still forget. I have hundreds of different pieces of paper everywhere with stuff that I plan on doing. I've just tried to kind of bring the point out a little bit there. Now, I'm going to, rather than drawing lots of lines with this, I'm going to use a different tool, but don't worry if you don't have this tool. This one's like is it called a golf tool?
Yes, it is called a golf tool. I think it's a bit, I think it looks like I think it's actually a flower make.
Is it for flowers? I don't know what it's for.
And things. Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. It's got little grooves in it anyway, so you can do hair. I didn't even know about them until I went and did a class. Well, I was teaching with Kerry down south, and Kerry was on about these, and they're really good. We don't have many, do we? But don't worry if you don't have them. You can just put the lines in with this. It's just that it gives you, can you see a few lines at a time? I don't know how well that shows for you guys on there. And try not to go in one direction. Try and kind of, can you see, curve it in different directions.
Chewie is quite hairy.
He is quite hairy. I mean, you don't even have to give him hairlines if you don't want them. I mean, because it's quite a cartoony little thing that we're doing. It's not realistic. I'm going to say it's not going to matter too much if he doesn't have all these lines in. But I would put those ones on there. I picked up the smaller one actually. They do a bigger one as well. So it's just got an extra little line in. So you just get a few more hairs in one go. But I picked up the small one. So I'm going to try and go around the back as well with this. Again, you have to be careful because when you're doing the back, you're probably going to find that you're squashing the front on your hand. So and just keep going. I can put quite a bit of pressure on because my paste is fairly firm. And like I say, I'm trying to do this fairly quickly just so that you guys aren't getting too bored of watching. Probably means I'm not doing it very neat as well because I'm kind of rushing it a little bit. Just seeing what it looks like if I actually curve it a bit. No, I prefer just to do a curve rather than it almost like a zigzaggy one. Yeah, we'll just go curves. Okay, so we'll keep these going. I've not squashed it too much. You can always just go back over the bits that you've squashed. And anywhere that I want to have the hairs look more emphasized and a little bit deeper, I'll just use the Dresden tool again, a bit like we did up on this bit. I do like the little effect though. It's a bit quicker for me. I know it's still taking me a little while to put the hairlines in, but it's a little bit quicker than if I'm doing them one at a time.
So I'll see if you've got any questions.
Yeah, you can see if we've got any questions. I'm just going to go, can you see in between a bit deeper at the bottom of the feet? I'm going to hold it downwards for you guys to see a bit better. And if I nudge it up a bit as well. Reminds me of Baby Groot's that I made
Yeah.
with the little feet. I know Baby Groot's not hairy, but it's the same kind of shape and texture that it looks like on the bottom of the feet when I made one last time. It's been a while since I've made Baby Groot.
Yeah, I remember. That was quite a popular video, that one.
Yeah, it's on our YouTube. We've got two. Oh no, one was a face cake and one was like a 3D cake. There we go. It's slightly rounder than that one, even though it has still been down. Oh, we need some hairlines on his face as well. But before I start putting the hairlines on his face, I want to work out whereabouts his eyes go. I know it doesn't look like a very nice model at the moment. It's not really till the end where it all comes together where it looks all right, this one. So I'm going to work out where we want things to go. So I think I want things fairly low down because I think he's got a fairly big forehead, hasn't he? So if I put a little mark across there, would you say it's about halfway down?
Yeah, that's roughly.
And I'm just going to use the balling tool to just press a bit of an eye socket in there and there. You can use your finger if you prefer, or you can round it back off with your finger.
Somebody sent us some stars already.
Some stars?
Yeah.
Oh, this morning we signed up to this thing on like Facebook Lives where people can send you stars. We didn't really know what it is, did we?
No, we've just been, it's like a new thing so people can support your page through sending you stars, and it's basically a way of, I think,
supporting people that are doing free tutorials kind of thing.
Yeah, so we haven't announced it yet. We've only just signed up for it today. So I'm only saying because we've noticed someone has sent us some stars. So thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thanks, Donna.
But it just goes to help supporting the channel. It's like contributions basically. But we will
like a donation.
Yeah, like a donation. We will delve into them more later on. Like literally, we only signed up for half an hour before we started this live, so we don't really know how they work yet. Right, guys. While Richard was talking, I was just kind of pulling the nose area out here. I don't want it too much. It's not going to look exactly like the actual one from the film, but that's fine. So again, some hairlines. They kind of come from between his eyes, up and over, and then kind of more around this way, I think. I do actually have a picture of what he looks like from the film next to me as well. So even though I'm not making mine look the same, with it being very cartoony, it still helps to have a little picture as reference. What was it we watched the other night? It was a Star Wars film, wasn't it?
Solo.
Yeah, Solo. That was the one. Has everybody seen Solo? I'd not seen it before until the other night. Zoe had seen it before.
I watch a lot of films on the plane when I'm travelling places for work.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, there was a few Wookiees in it.
Was there a few Wookiees in it?
They are Wookiees, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yep.
With 2 E's.
I won't remember that. I'll spell it wrong if I have to spell it. Okay, so I'm going around the back of the head as well with my hair. It's almost got like these, looks like he combs it backwards, doesn't it? So can you see it goes over there and then kind of round a bit? Maybe have a few there. If you want any longer, or not longer, but more defined ones, then press a bit deeper with the pointy end of the Dresden. Okay, but I don't want too much definition anywhere other than sort of this bit here under the face, because I want that to be obvious that that's where his kind of head ends and body begins. Richard pointed out he doesn't have a neck, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a neck in the film. I've just squashed the back of his feet a bit, but we can sort them out in a minute. I'm just going to check that he still stands upright, because if he's wanting to fall over a lot at this stage, then he's not going to stay up on his own, and I want him to be able to just stand up without any kind of support. Okay, so let's do some work on his face. Can you see we've added a bit of dust, so I'm just going to get a bit of kitchen roll. Oops. Let's use the brush, so this will still have colour in from when I was doing it earlier. We got these back in stock. I know those of you that were watching the other day, I wanted one of these, and they all sold out, didn't they? But they are back in stock, although I don't actually think we have very many left, do we? I have been cleaning it. It is just that I've had some black on that one this morning and I didn't worry about changing it since then. I'm going to use the brown squirrel one, which is the same colour that we used on Yoda on Tuesday. But on its own, it's difficult for it to kind of show up on there. Although actually this one's a slightly lighter version than that one, so maybe it will show up a bit.
Just a bit of a random comment. But, it must be a new emoji on Facebook now, because I've seen people can send cares, which is like an emoji with a heart, I think, from what I can see.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, I've not seen him before.
Yeah, but we're not very up to date on things, are we, that you can do?
Yeah.
Well, this one shows up okay, actually. So I'm going to put like this around, can you see like the eye area? A little bit down near the bottom of the face. I'm not going to really take it too much onto the body, this. I'm keeping it for the face. I might not actually need white on this one. What do you reckon, Richard? Do I need white? On the other one, I had to put a little bit of white on. Because this colour wasn't showing up, but it actually looks alright on this one. I don't know what that is, it got stuck to me. And then just to make sure that shows up a bit more, I'm going to put some black on as well. Can you see that okay? Have I got it really far to the side?
No, sorry.
I got black everywhere earlier. So I usually a little bit on there, dab it in the lid, and then I still dab it further on here, because you can end up with quite a lot in the brush and I end up with it everywhere. And I don't want to go too dark. So I'm going to just put, see, it's already darker than I was planning. A little bit on the top of the head. Just coming down the centre, a tiny bit there. I'm just going to rub a little bit on here. Not too much. Okay, and then I want to deepen under those fur lines that we've put there, so it looks more shadowed. Does that show okay?
Yeah, look, you can see it on the camera.
Yep, do a little bit around the back. This is where I'll probably stick my fingers in the bit at the back and end up smudging it all over. I haven't gone in as deep, have I, at the back, which I should have done really. Okay, so remember you can spend a little bit longer than this when you're doing it. And then a bit between sort of the legs, any areas that would be shadowed, so. And you don't have to put the dusting on, you know, if you don't have the dust, it's not essential. I think it just changes what it looks like a bit. I like it with a bit of dusting. I don't dust everything.
Yes, you do dust everything.
I don't dust everything.
Zoe does dust everything.
No, I don't.
It's the most used thing we have.
Yeah, I've probably just did that one a bit more.
There's always a little bit more, never not enough, is there?
No, sometimes I go overboard. Okay, so between the crack, anywhere that you imagine would have a shadow forming even. Okay, so it still looks weird at the moment, but that's okay. Right, I don't think we're going to need this one again, so I'm just going to pop the lid on and put it to one side because I am likely to knock that over. And I can't decide now for the eyes, and I couldn't decide on the last one either, whether to do open eyes or closed eyes. So on this one I did one of each. So I did him winking. You think open? And now I can't decide whether to go for that same size pearl or a bigger pearl. So like with Yoda we use the really big pearls because he has, or baby Yoda, because he has quite big cutesy eyes.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
The bigger the eyes, usually the more baby-like and cuter they tend to look.
Or scary.
Well, I haven't pushed them in the face yet. This one has got this size, which I don't actually know the measurements of these, do you? They're the PME large black ones.
I think they're 7mm.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm sure. And the small ones, I think, are 4mm.
So they're what's gone in that one. Well, it's got one of these and then just a ball of brown paste for the winky eye, and then over the brown paste they just put like a little line with the edible pen, just kind of like a curve. But I'll do this one with open eyes, but it's just so you guys know how to do that one if you're gonna do that one. Oh, I can't decide whether to do that size again, which I know does actually suit it better because he's only got tiny eyes, or whether to try big just to see what they look like.
Give him one big, one small.
No, I'm not giving him one big, one small. Decision.
Just push one in. What can go wrong?
He might have to have an eye patch. Ooh. Okay, because this is quite firm. It'll be quite a bit of work for me to push it in. So what I'm going to do is press a little bit of a hole in first.
Using the balling tool.
Yeah, using the balling tool. I'll widen it a little bit. That end's probably a bit too big. I won't put water in so that if I want to pull them back out, I can do. I don't think they're going to look too bad when they're in place, you know. I'm using this chance to experiment. See, not that I do these for customers anymore, but when I did, I couldn't really experiment because you didn't have enough time. Like, I'd have to do it as it's supposed to be straight away. But when I'm doing like the Facebook Lives and things, I think, oh, do you know what? It's not for anyone. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't work out right, it doesn't really matter. I can play around and experiment, and at least then I know what works and what doesn't. And sometimes it's personal preference. See, I actually don't think that looks too bad now it's in. He's looking a little bit different to that one. I think this one I've given a slightly rounder head than this one. But it's okay still. Okay, so let's put in his mouth. So he's going to have a little line that just comes across here. I'm not going to go too big, otherwise it's not as cute.
Somebody, just a quick one, because there's a few people questioning stars. We probably should have launched it today. Stars, yeah, basically have to pay for the stars, and then the stars you can send them to anybody watching on Facebook Lives. We get the people that are making videos or Facebook Lives, they basically get 1 cent for every star, so it's less than a penny, I think, for every star you get. And it's literally, you buy them in hundreds, I think, from Facebook. Having a quick look now, it's about £1 for 100 stars.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And then
then you just donate them to whoever?
You just donate them to whoever you're watching Facebook Lives, and it just helps pay for bits and pieces. We will put more information on it later on. Like you say, we have literally just agreed to it today with Facebook, so we don't really know how it works properly. So yeah, there you go.
Okay, so let's give him his nose. Did you guys all see me do that mouth while Richard was talking? So pointing into the Dresden tool, we went across a little bit deeper in either end. I did actually use the little rubber ended one to just go a bit deeper still, but it's not essential. If you don't have that, it doesn't matter. I know quite a few of you do have these though, so you can use it if you've got it. Okay, oh look, I've got brown dust in the nose already. To be honest, it doesn't matter. If you've got black paste, use black paste.
He does look a lot cuter with big eyes.
Yeah, usually bigger eyes and then bigger, rounder heads. Shorter, fatter bodies make them look cuter.
You could even use a bit of glaze on his nose.
I could do.
To make it shiny.
Oh, can't be bothered finding the glaze now.
I'll find some glaze.
Oh, but then I also need glaze cleaner.
I might not find some glaze.
I like the glaze. Glaze looks nice, but having to clean up the mess afterwards from glaze. But it does always look nice. Right, I'm actually going to... You can use black. I'm just going to do brown and I'm going to colour it in. So I want a tiny little oval. Okay, and then I want a tiny bit of water. Just here. And then we're going to push this oval on. Oops, if I can keep hold of it. It's quite a big nose on this one. Actually, he's got a decent sized nose, hasn't he? You can leave it completely round if you want. Or you can try and poke a hole in that. Ideally, I should have picked up something that was a bit rounded.
Like a cocktail stick?
No, it's fine. I'll just use this. So I'm going to try and nudge up here and here. Usually pushes it up his face. So I have to push the nose back down the face again. Can you see the nostrils? Do they show on there? I don't know. Do they show?
I can't get in. Wait 1 second.
So they're only little.
Hold them this way.
So they're underneath. You're pushing them underneath, but watch out for it pushing up the face. Yeah?
Tilt all the way around.
Is that the way you meant?
Yeah. Kinda. There you go. You can just
you'll only see them a little bit. So like I say, you can do that in black. I had brown to hand, so I've done them in brown. And if you've done, I mean, you can leave it in brown. You could even put the powder on if you want. I'm just going to colour it in because I've got my pen to hand. What, are you laughing at me? I just like using the pens. So I'm just colouring in this now. Just because I've only just stuck it on, it might move around a little bit. So let yours set a minute if you're doing anything with it. Or just put it on in black modelling paste. Did everybody catch at the beginning what we were using to make him with? We were using the brown Saracino modelling paste. Oh wait, he's got a little line that comes down from his nose. He actually looks cuter without the line, but I feel like the line is what makes him look like him. So I'm just gonna, can you see from the nose, just put a little line down there. I don't know how well actually that line shows up.
It's coming together nicely.
Looks like
I
his
think
baby
your second
brother.
one is nicer than your first one.
Do you? I was thinking he's got a nicer shaped head. But at least this one's not as flat as that one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give him some arms. So I'm just gonna move the dust to one side. I am gonna need that again for the arms in a,
with this one,
in a minute.
with these ones, because it's obviously you're doing them quite big and you've not put any support in these ones yet for them standing.
Yeah.
Will they be okay standing?
Does that answer your question?
Just for the viewers.
Richard wasn't listening to me earlier when I said it would stand.
How was it not?
No, because it's firm, because it's quite cold, it'll stand up on its own. If I give it a thin neck, I would have to have something that ran through the middle. But he doesn't, he's like one solid piece, so he's not needing that support. It's more getting him to balance upright. Because if he's tilting backwards or forwards, he's likely to sort of continue leaning. Do you want me to stand him up for you? There you go. Okay. So at the moment, he's okay. Richard asked earlier on my first one where his neck was because you couldn't see his neck. I don't think you really see his neck in the film. I don't think. Okay, let's give him arms. So we did 160 grams in the body. The arms aren't going to be as much. I think I probably want about 20 grams. It's probably a bit much. I've got 24 there, so I'm aiming for about 20. 21 point something, it'll do, it'll be fine. If it looks too big when we're putting it together, I can take some off. Okay, so I'm still freezing. Can you see my goosebumps? And my hair stood up on end. Okay. So I'm going to roll this to try and get rid of my creases and cracks. Because it's a smaller piece, it's much easier for me to get rid of those creases and cracks. And the big piece, it's harder because I can't put as much pressure on.
We've got a question for all the...
Yeah, I'm just rolling it into a little sausage shape.
We've got a question for all the viewers at the moment that are big Star Wars fans. What is Chewie's belt called? The belt that goes around Chewie's shoulder.
Richard doesn't know the answer, do you?
I do.
Oh, right.
Tried to Google it this morning.
Okay. This is both arms. So it wants to be rounded at either end, and I just want to have a look to see if half of that looks like it's going to be long enough. As long as it goes from shoulder to height of the top of the legs, then we should be all right. I think if it's a bit longer as well, it'd be fine. Okay. And I can stretch it out further in a minute. Now, depending on the position I'm going to have them in is going to depend how I'm going to cut them. So if I cut it straight across the middle, the arms will stick out straight to the side. But if I cut it at an angle, the arm will stick on at an angle.
Clever.
He's probably going to look weird if they're just stuck straight out to the side.
Like a scarecrow.
Yeah, maybe he could be waving. Maybe he could have one down, one up. Okay, I'm going to cut it at a slant anyway, and then I can show you what I mean. So, bit of a slant. Hopefully I've cut them about the same. Ish. So, can you see it can either go up that way, or he looks like he's doing Saturday Night Fever dance.
Yeah, there you go.
He's dancing. Or maybe I could just put both his arms in the air. Oh no, because that's going to make it really difficult to get that belt thing over his shoulder. I hadn't considered that. Do I want him waving one arm or not? Or should I just have him the same?
I've one up.
Okay, we'll do one up. So before I stick it on, I'm just going to check the length. So I think it's about all right lengthwise. I'm going to put him in a thumb. So think about if you had your arms out to the side, which way would your thumb go? I know I did it the wrong way last time. So it would be up near the top. He's not going to have realistic hands at all. It's going to be a tiny bit. Can you see here that I'm just kind of pushing in there.
Jo gave us the correct term or name for the belt.
Did she?
Don't know how you pronounce it, but a bandolier.
Okay. So can you see the little thumb in there? If you get a few lines in, don't worry, because we need to put like hair and stuff on his arm still anyway. In fact, I'm going to just put a bit of water, if I can grab my brush, on both sides of the body. So it's going to go here and here, just because if I put that on now, it should hopefully be going a bit tacky. I didn't actually put anything in the arms on that one, like the other one, they stayed up on their own, but it might be that they don't on this one, we'll see, especially if one's in the air. I'm going to stretch that just a tiny bit so it matches with the other one. So if this one is going upwards, the thumb's going to be up here on this side. So can you see it's pointy end, kind of pushing it in. You could even probably use a small pair of scissors actually to snip that. I haven't got a pair to hand, but I do have some somewhere, so you could just use little scissors. I don't know if I've put his thumb a little bit too far down his arm on this one or not. It's okay, it'll do. So he needs some fur so that it matches the rest of his body. So like I said, don't worry if you don't have this golf tool, if that's what it's called, then you can just draw them in with your dressing tool, or you can leave it without fur. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have fur. I'm probably going to have to put some of these lines back in again once I've stuck it on, because I can feel that I'm pushing some back out when it's against my hand. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit deeper and try and get some other bits. Again, you could use some scissors, but I'll see if I can cut through it with this. So can you see if I push? I don't want it to look like another thumb, but some little pieces of hair. Can you see sticking out under the arm there? So if I press really hard, kind of brings them out a little bit. Maybe even some little bits on the end of his hand there, or a little bit there.
Thank you, Kelly.
What's
some
that?
more stars.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we're going to push this onto here. It's probably going to squeeze out a few of the little pieces of hair they've put on. His belt might have to go on the other shoulder. I forgot, does it come across that way? He's going to have a backwards belt.
Yeah, you've done that well.
So I'm nudging this on to make sure it's held tightly in place. If you feel like it's going to come off, just push a skewer through, or a cocktail stick just through there. It's just that obviously if you're going to eat it, you'd need to make sure that it was removed. I forgot it's all sticky at that side where I wet it. Put some more water on there. Hopefully that will hold in place. We'll see. While he's laying down, I think it will. It'll be more when I stand him up.
He's looking at it. Brilliant.
Thanks, Richard. You're just being polite, so I
He's
don't get
looking a
cross
lot
with
better
you.
than version 1.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so just pressing that on.
He looks hairier as well.
Does he? Okay, arm 1. Hopefully that won't come off. I'm just seeing if there's anything that I can... There, we'll lean it against there for a minute. No, we're not going to lean it against there because it looks like it's going to drop off. Okay, so hair on this one as well. I mean, this is the trickiest bit because it's always easy to get it on one side, and then as soon as you're doing the other side...
It rubs out, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I always think if I leave it a bit longer to firm up, maybe you guys can give me your tips when you're doing this kind of thing. Because there'd be something obvious that I'm just missing that I should be doing that I'm not. Yeah, I always think I'll let it firm up and I'll go back to it, but then of course I forget, and by the time I've gone back to it, it's gone that firm that I can't get the lines in the same. Okay. Put some in with this as well.
Has everybody got anything planned for May the 4th? Force be with you? Monday?
Do people plan things for
I
it?
don't know. I guess normally there's probably like sort of maybe Star Wars parties possibly. But maybe not at the moment with the coronavirus.
No.
I think it'll be a bit more low key.
Okay, so stick his other hand on. It does look like he's dancing a bit. Or diverting traffic.
Let's put my little hat on.
Oops, kind of coming away from him there. Let's press him on there. And let's put those hairlines back in. We'll see in a minute when I stand him up if he actually stays in place or not, or if these arms are going to drop off. I just thought if I can do it without the sticks, then I'll try and do it without the sticks, because then you've not got as many bits inside there inedible, and because it doesn't have support through the middle, it'd be nice to do something where it's just entirely edible. Not that you probably would eat it, I wouldn't, but he's starting to take shape. He just wants a bit of shading now so that it matches. Just when you shade in the arms, just check that you've not got water everywhere, because if you've got water all over, it'll just go a bit funny. Will the dust where you put it on there, it'll kind of smear. So a little bit of black kind of, can you see at the joins? Maybe even a little bit just on the underside of each arm, because that's where it would be shaded.
Well, I've seen a few people said they've had to cancel trips to Disneyland this year. I guess a lot of people have had to cancel holidays this year.
Yeah. Okay, so his body looks a bit plain, but that's fine, because when we put the belt on, that's what's going to make him look really different. So I'm not going to use the dust again, so we're not going to need that. And I did earlier, if I find it, I mixed some black and brown together. Or you can just use black if you want, but that is black and brown that I've got. It's gone a bit hard as well, because it's been in the bag a while. I might have to microwave it again in a second. And I also need some grey. So this is just a tiny bit of white and black together. You can see I didn't do that. Didn't mix it together this morning. This one's one that I've had for months, but I might as well use it up. But that's why it looks a bit drier, because I've had it a long time. I actually don't even know if this one's Saracino or if it's something different. Sometimes I just put all like my scrappy bits in bags and I forget what they actually are. But I only use them for models and this kind of thing, so nobody's going to be eating them, so it's okay. It is all edible still anyway, and just I forget what brand it is, what type of paste it is sometimes.
Just a reminder to those watching, obviously the videos will be available on our Facebook page straight after this, because it's available to watch all the time, so it will still be available there. And we do also upload them to our YouTube channel in due course as well.
Yes, we do, and the Yoda one's just gone on YouTube last night. Yeah, Yoda went on last night onto YouTube, but Yoda you can still watch on Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not softening. I could do is again and put it in the microwave, but it's okay. It's fine. So I'm going to roll it. I'm going to keep it not quite as thick as that, but I'm not going to roll it super thin. Okay, and in fact I'm going to make the belt before I cut the pieces out of this. Oops, I'll just put that to one side. Let's see if I can warm up this now. Probably not, because my hands are so cold.
If people would like to be thinking for suggestions for Tuesdays Facebook Live, that would be good.
Yeah, give me something easy. Something easy to do.
Well, we might do it like either, well, if we have the general, we could do cake topper, cupcakes. They're the main things.
Yeah. I don't mind doing a face cake if it's a quick one.
Yeah, I think we'll do a cake on.
But I don't know that we've got much flour or anything in now to make any cake.
Flour's a hard to resource product at the moment.
Yes. Okay. Ugh. Can you see it? So it's not very. I haven't warmed it up much, so it's not as soft.
Yeah, we apologise for everybody watching Zoe needing pace for minutes. I probably should have stepped in and helped, but I forgot.
In a class, a student would normally just do it for me because they've all got warmer hands than me, and they're more helpful than Richard.
You're more helpful than me.
So let's roll it out. And I guess it's up to you what kind of thickness or what width you want this. If you do it really wide though, I have to make the little grey bits that I don't know what they are. We looked up, didn't we, what they were, but we have to make them thick as well.
I've seen quite a few people mention Tasmanian level. I don't know if it's the same lady. I've seen that mentioned a few times now.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll this. This wants to be thinner than the grey because it has to, and it has to be long enough that it wraps around him. Let's cut a strip. Let's have a think about what thickness. So if I cut one edge straight first, it's gonna go this way. This is gonna be too thick. I'm gonna cut about this thickness. I don't know how thick that is. I realise I usually measure things on my board against centimetres, but this is 1/2 inches, isn't it? Because my centimetres are on the other side of the board.
Yes.
Whereas normally I have the centimetre side for me to measure against. It's probably short of 2 centimeters, but maybe a bit longer than 1.5 centimeters, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to put some water on the back. Just a little bit. I'm going to wrap it over the shoulder. And I'm going to bring it down here. Just going to cut it off at the side. Let's bring that one down to me. And then he looks like he's got like a little bag on the bottom end of it, which I'm going to use to cover my join a little bit as well. I'm going to make him a little bag. It feels like it's softening up now. Okay, just re-knead it again a second. Okay. You can see can you see how shiny it looks when it starts to get the heat from my hand? I think maybe this one's actually got a bit of modelling chocolate in it. That might be why. Okay. I don't want it super thin. And then, in fact, I'll cut the bottom off so we've got a straight edge. I'm going to cut it so it gets slightly thinner as it comes up. And I'm going to fold it over so it doesn't want to be too big. Let's see. So this thinner bit is going to fold over and it's going to look like it's not a detailed bag. It's a very, very quick bag. So that's his bag. And maybe put a line up there.
Yeah, you see, somebody else has mentioned Joe Exotic. I've been saying about Joe Exotic, Kate, the Tiger King.
I reckon if I made him, you wouldn't even know it was him. I reckon I wouldn't be able to make it look like him.
That's a challenge to do it in 45 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't make him in 45 minutes. I'm not very quick at that kind of thing. I could maybe make a cute tiger in 45 minutes.
We've got, we've got fairies, more fairies, a narwhal. Well, we've got a whale cake though, haven't we?
Yeah, we did actually, and I did a narwhal. I don't know how you say it. Version of it as well. Although I don't think I filmed the narwhal. I think it's just a picture in the background. I'm going to roll it thinner this time. I'm going to want a thin strip of this, so much thinner than the other belt. Okay.
I've got somebody said Earth Vader. I don't know if that's supposed to be Darth Vader or whether Earth Vader might be someone to help the Earth.
I don't know. Right, so this, the grey, wants to be cut just slightly wider than that. So actually that's quite thick. Maybe I should have done the brown bit of the belt a little bit thinner. I'm guessing this, so it might not be quite right size-wise. And then we're going to cut it into little, just watch you don't catch you with a bit, little rectangles. So we want some thin ones, some slightly wider ones, in between sized ones. Just have a range. How many do we think we'll need? I think they actually go on the front and the back, but I'm going to just put mine on the front because I'm being lazy. No, I just want them on the front of mine. Okay, so let's start up there. Yeah, that's fine. So it's just a little bit wider than the belt itself. So that's worked out well. Leave a bit of a gap between each one. That one doesn't look like it's quite as long. Either that or my belt gets wider there.
Yeah, I've got quite a wide belt, just saying.
Have I? Yeah, it's probably, yeah, I've done it much chunkier actually than the other one, haven't I? It'll be fine. Do I squeeze one more in there or not? No, I'm not going to squeeze another one in. I'm going to leave it there. I could save them for the back. No, I'm not going to. Okay, more water. Just in the middle of each of these. You can see it's got brown in my brush, look, from the paste. And then let's cut one end straight. And I'm going to start it here. And we're going to kind of go over the top of those. And I'm going to use the pointy end of this to push them down in between. Just make sure they feel like they're stuck in place. We don't want them coming off. Can you guys see that? Okay. So I'm kind of pushing down in between. If this gets really hard and firm, it will crack all the paste when you're trying to do this though. Let's stand him up a second. And then I'm going to just press down there. And I'm going to cut that bit off. Oh, he stood up. I wonder if his arm will stay on. Let's see. Oh, I bent his little grey bit. I want them fairly straight. I don't know if I prefer that one or the other one. Do you think I should have put grey bits on the back?
Yeah.
Oh, I just cut up his little bit there. Okay, I'll stick a couple on the back. Are you sure he has them on the back, Richard?
According to Google.
It's harder to work on him when he's stood up.
I think we must ask Google a lot of questions every day, don't we?
I don't know, I ask you a lot of questions.
Well, you ask me, I ask Google.
Doesn't want to stick. Stay on. You won't be able to see what I'm doing now anyway, can you? Can you see it from this angle or not?
You're on that camera over there.
Ah, okay.
So yes.
Start again from there. So obviously if you're planning on putting it on the back, you don't have to do it in separate pieces like I've done. You could have just used that brown piece all the way around. I'm not sure if it's going to be long enough. Is it going to stretch? Oh yeah, just about. And I didn't worry about going all the way to the end. I just went as far as that. There we go. He's finished.
Spin it around again. Thank you.
Now he's dancing. Yeah. Okay.
At least he stood up.
Oh, I forgot to put black dust on the back of his arm. Just putting a tiny bit on the back of his arm just to blend it in a bit.
Which are we preferring? Version A, which was Zoe's first one, or
With the smaller eyes.
or version B, the one with the big eyes?